Welcome to the Lodge. You've accessed
The Lodgecast Experience.
Warning, warning, dangerous spoilers ahead. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome to the Lodgecast Hotline. Brother Bishke here to tell you some of the hot upcoming movies we're going to be reviewing. If you see any of these movies and you have opinions about them, then please leave a voicemail at the phone number 1-877-565-1466, where you can call in your brief movie review and possibly be included in an episode. Don't forget to give us your bone count. Here are some of the hottest upcoming movies the Lodgecast will be reviewing. Locked Down, rated R. Sia's Music, rated PG-13. Bliss, starring Owen Wilson, rated R. I Care a Lot, rated R. Once again, that Lodgecast hotline number is 1-877-565-1466. Call toll free today. Love and light.
I don't know if this is prestige, but let's see.
It's late night? I feel like it's a late night.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to another edition of Lockdown Hot Takes After Dark. I'm your Lodge Master. With me as always is Brother Bishke.
Good evening.
And Brother Lucas.
Up all night.
This is an After Dark Hot Takes because I don't know if I'd call this movie prestige, but as far as like an after midnight selection on Amazon Prime Video, it's pretty prestigious in that department. It's a movie called Nocturne, and it's set in the high pressure world of super obsessed young musicians. It's a Blumhouse joint, Blumhouse Television.
It's very odd because, yeah, it's a movie. It's definitely a feature, but you're right. The Blumhouse TV.
What are movies?
I don't know.
What are movies anymore?
I don't know. I guess, you know what? I guess it's Blumhouse Television because it was released strictly on Amazon Prime platform. So maybe that's their reasoning.
It's just a very dissonant image to see Blumhouse Television before a movie. But anyway, I knew nothing about this going in. This movie was vetted by none other than our very own Lucas. And he said, boys, we're doing Nocturne. And so I found that to be thrilling. I so rarely know nothing about a movie going in. And it is always a joy. Bishke, did you know anything about this? Had you even heard of this?
Nothing.
Well, I love that because honestly, I was in the same boat as you gentlemen, and it was late at night, and I was surfing through the void and was like, what do I do with myself?
Surfing the void.
And I saw it was like an Amazon original, and I was like, Nocturne, that's an interesting title. And I think the thumbnail for my viewing was like the young protagonist, which is the girl, I forget her name, but she's from
Sydney Sweeney.
Thank you, from Euphoria. She's great. And so yeah, I watched the trailer, and the trailer kind of impressed me. I was like, whoa, this trailer looks interesting. And so I was like, let me just start watching it. And I started watching it. And by the time it was over, it was like a lean, mean, I think it was 90 minutes or 91 minutes. And I was like, I love this. Like, I love the short runtime. I love the plot. Like, I just appreciated that finally a filmmaker, and it was their first feature, their directorial debut. Like, we're really swinging for the fences. It kind of has this Black Swan meets, I would say Hereditary, just because there's some spooky supernatural stuff, maybe. But it has that kind of aesthetic, that kind of high polished, kind of creepy vibe.
It's about fraternal twin sister pianists, and they are both at this prestigious music school, and there is a big competition to play this big final musical piece at the end of their school year, semester, or whatever. Mm-hmm. So the whole movie is about the intense pressure that these youngsters force themselves into to be perfect and to play every note perfectly. And that's when shit starts getting creepy, when one of these students is driven to madness and kills herself. And then Sydney Sweeney finds her cursed musical notebook with a symbol on it. I mean, you can't get much clearer than that. Like, the second I saw that spooky notebook with the symbol, I knew exactly what movie I was in. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. But I would really love to know what Bishke was thinking as the movie was starting to unfold. What were you feeling about Nocturne?
Yeah, I was pretty sure it was shot at UC Northridge. I don't know. I've been to that campus a few times. And so I think that was where it was, the Performing Arts Center there, which is a very nice performing arts center. And it's a very nice campus. That was my early going thoughts. And then she plays...
Ooh, nice campus.
Yeah. And then, Juliet's our lead. I thought she was a pretty good millennial. I thought it was... I like the theme of like millennials and classical music, and then that just not jiving anymore. Like it's pointed out that millennials don't give a shit about classical, which is beyond obvious. Like, we're gonna lose classical KUSC probably in like the next like few years, and like it's just all gonna go away. Like, I'm a classical music fan, a classically trained pianist.
You're a classically trained pianist, Bishke?
I did. I took 5 years as a child and 4 years as an adult. And
oh shit!
So this movie was up my alley. I was rooting for it in the early going. Yeah,
I didn't know we had such a fancy pants in our midst.
Me neither. That's impressive, Bishke. Wow. I mean, like, I don't have a musical bone in my body, but I always thought I would love to learn to play piano if I could learn just one instrument.
Lucas took a big hit, y'all. Let him recover.
Thank you.
And I love that the term orc dorks for orchestra dorks. I'd never heard that before. I'm sure it's a phrase as old as time, but orc dorks. That was cool. So, yeah, I got some Suspiria vibes, some light Suspiria on a budget vibes. And I don't quite know what to make of Sydney Sweeney's performance, because it feels real, but it also feels kind of, I don't know, just kind of tossed off a little bit.
She kind of slurs her words.
She slurs her words.
It's interesting. She plays herself. Like, she doesn't have a lot of range. But I felt...
That's what it feels like.
Yes, but I think she's much stronger in a supporting role, but here she's kind of asked to carry the film. But it works for me only because out of the fraternal twins, her sister is the more talented, successful prodigy. And she's the one that really has to struggle. And when you look at her, it's like, yeah, she kind of looks like she's not really into piano. Like, she'd rather be doing something else. Yeah. So I can kind of visually at least understand that. And that kind of worked for me.
My other problem, and it's very petty and surface, but there's a rapper who has a lot of tattoos on his face, and he looks like he's like 12, and his name is Lil Xan, short for Lil Xanax.
I know Lil Xan.
And he looks to me just like her. Like, they look like identical twins. So if you Google Lil Xan and Sydney Sweeney, let me know if I'm insane or not. But I couldn't get past it, so I was like, "Oh man, Lil Xan's doing a pretty good job in this."
And she's popping Xan throughout. So there you go.
Yeah, she is definitely taking some druggist. But I also dug like the Amadeus dynamic between like her and her sister, similar to Black Swan, where there's this frenemy sibling rivalry. Yeah. And it's like, for anyone who wants to excel at something, no matter what it is, you're always going to, experience your peer, someone exactly like you, but they're just 10 times like better at it. And you just have to accept that. And
it's bound to happen.
Yeah.
It's bound to happen.
I feel it's like a universal relatable theme that goes a long way in any genre. And if you kind of put that into like a horror, suspense, thriller, whatever it is, psychodrama, I think it pays off a lot. Like, I think it just spikes the punch a little bit.
Yeah. One problem I had with their twin relationship is that they were pretty at odds from the beginning. Like, I kind of wish they would have been friendly on the surface, but secretly at odds, I guess.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have a little more fall off there.
I mean, you think about sisters or, any siblings, like, they're usually not assholes to each other. I mean, maybe they are, but I don't know. You've
lived a charmed life, Bishki.
I maybe have lived a charmed life. I mean, I've had arguments with siblings, but I'm not.
But not just pure, like, bone deep assholery.
Not just pure, like, screw you, sis.
Yeah, and the kind of assholery we're describing is, so for example, the more successful sister has a classical piece of music that she has picked out to perform as an audition to be chosen for the like main event headliner showcase. And everyone like, you know, tells Sydney Sweeney like, oh yeah, you know, you gotta have balls, you gotta go for it. And even her sister tells her like, you just gotta like not care or something. So she's like, all right, I'm gonna do the exact same audition song as you. Mm-hmm. And not only that, but like she's gonna get it. You know, it's like it's kind of amazing. Like, I don't know, it's just it's good setup and payoff, dramatically speaking.
Yeah. I loved the first creep that we see. It's not really a horror movie per se. It's more of a psychological mindfuck movie, kind of like, yeah, like Black Swan is. Mm-hmm. But like halfway through, we get an image of the girl who killed herself. And I thought that was really effective. She had a weird smile on her face. And I thought that was good. But the budget definitely hampers a lot of the other bigger things that this movie is trying to do with its special effects. Like there's a lot of hallucination stuff that looks, I don't know, almost like a screensaver to me at certain points.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap.
You know, I can get into it and I can forgive it, but
no, but I can officially label this student feature certified.
Ooh, student feature certified.
Oh,
yeah, because Brother Bishki, you know, already hit the nail on the head where he was like, "Oh, that's Cal State Northridge campus," which I didn't know, but that makes sense because everything is very minimal. Like they don't have a lot of money, including for the actors too, right? So that's why you get like a Sydney Sweeney, because she wants that starring leading role.
She's up and coming,
and she's willing to take a chance on a first-time filmmaker who has a great script with a vision to back it.
Yeah, some of the effects, I wish they had stayed a little bit in their budget lane and like done what they could with what they had instead of pushing it into this realm that they can't quite pay off. But like you can still follow it. You know, I feel like some of the other stuff could have been pushed a little further too. Like there's a pretty standard drug freak out scene at this senior party that, you know, if I see another GoPro strapped to somebody's chest looking back at their face as they walk around a party disoriented, I'm going to lose my mind. Like this is a time-honored scene in movies, and we have to reimagine the party drug freakout scene. We have to push it forward. We have to push it somewhere outside of the GoPro pointed back at the face thing.
Yeah.
That might be a personal issue that I have, but I definitely noticed that.
It's also such a hodgepodge pastiche of like recent, I feel like, horror films or psychological thrillers or what have you. So it might not seem as compelling or as fresh as you'd like it to. But that being said, someone who has not seen Black Swan or someone who has not seen Hereditary or Amadeus or any of these other movies, if they stumble across this, it might land a lot harder too.
If it can turn one millennial onto classical music, it's done its job. But I don't know. We'll see. I never even thought about how apathy towards the genre is going to kill classical music. I never even thought about that until this movie and until Bishki gravely let us know that is definitely the case.
Yeah, that conscious thought never popped into my head. And you're right. Like I didn't even like, if you think about, like films that are still shot on celluloid or in David Fincher's version of Mank, it's black and white, which is, I'm sure, a novelty, like just doesn't happen. Like it's just absolutely an obscure rarity now.
Yeah, we're gonna see a lot of those changes as we experience our beautiful life arc, boys. But for this movie, I do agree with you, LT, that it is lean and it knows exactly what it wants to do, and it it doesn't have the money to go off on tangents that it doesn't need.
I think it's a good date night movie or a late night movie, and if you have Amazon Prime, it's included, as part of the Blumhouse deal or whatever. So it's
already
available.
there.
Yeah, and what's cool too is I didn't realize until just now, because I looked it up as we were talking, but the writer-director Zu Cork, it's Z-U and then Cork with an E, it's like a first-time filmmaker, and she's obviously like extremely talented, and I'm just trying to find out like where she came from, because I want to track whatever she's doing next. I think like if she gets a real budget, I mean, the sky's the limit.
LT's on the trail. He'll keep us updated. In the meantime, let's go to them Nocturne bones. All right, Mysterious Bishki, you having high pressure piano flashbacks with this one?
I do. Home? Yeah, I do like the premise. As I said, classical music struggling to remain alive in the millennial world. Two sisters dueling it out for Juilliard, classical musicians trying to escape being piano teachers, which has to be a very difficult thing to do.
Right.
And so, I liked all that. I did have some questions about certain plot elements. There's a point where her sister, Vivian, takes a fall, and I was like, did she just like fall off a cliff accidentally? I was like,
she did.
And then Jules, our lead, Juliet, passes out during some of her performances, and it's kind of like an open ending. It's very Black Swan, but I preferred Black Swan probably. But it's obviously on a much lower budget than Black Swan. Definitely feels like a first-time feature and student feature. Very ambitious, but I do consider it amateur. I do consider it amateur Black Swan. I'll give it 1.5 bones.
Boom.
For a superior and darker movie about piano playing, I recommend Michael Haneke's movie The Piano Teacher, starring Isabelle Huppert,
oh my God,
which I give 4 bones. 4 bones.
That's a different.
Wow.
That's a differently prepared meal.
My favorite Haneke film.
Michael Haneke is the only filmmaker that I legitimately fear. Like, I do not fuck with Michael Haneke, because he will slap you on your ass. Like, he will just...
And a little Gaspar Noé and Michael Haneke, if they were to team up.
Deadly.
Yeah, Haneke will fuck you up, man.
Dude, I just got to say about Michael Haneke, when I was in college in Chicago, I was at a Blockbuster Video in the foreign language section, and I see a movie called
That's where he dwells.
Funny Games. And I'm like, Funny Games, huh? Yeah. Michael Haneke, huh? Blockbuster, huh? Like, how crazy could it be? Probably not that crazy. I'll rent it. And like the next, not day, but like the next week, I was still like processing and coming to terms with like what I saw. And I was like trying to explain it to people, and they were like, "That doesn't make any sense, Lucas. You're not making any sense." And I'm like, "No, he paused it, and then he rewound the movie I was watching. You don't understand."
He directed the remake as well of Funny Games,
I saw that
the American
too,
remake. And I had a screening in my apartment where we played both versions simultaneously.
Wow.
And smoked everything.
Wow.
And it was a religious experience.
Whoa.
So I recommend that. That's an amazing experience.
Yeah, you know what? You should do a double feature of that simultaneously, but then Alfred Hitchcock and Gus Van Sant's Psycho simultaneously, like back to back.
Yeah,
let's do both.
Let's do it.
You got to be a real orc dork for movies to do that, though. So that's 1.5 from Bishki. Lucas, rain down the love and light on this student feature.
I know. Look, everything we've talked about, I feel we're in sync on. Like, Brother Bishki's breakdown is very accurate. Like, I know there's not much more any of us can say except this is a solid Saturday night, midnight, like cult film. So I'm going to give it 2.5 bones, because I can see the care and craftsmanship and precision and the storyboards. Like, they didn't waste anything. Like, they absolutely utilized every favor they had, and I thank them all for it.
2.5 from LT. And, on the back end, if they had just pushed things in a few new directions that I wasn't able to completely predict, that would have pushed it quite a bit higher for me. That said, in my heart, I'm at like a solid 1.5 bones, but the last shot, that last shot lived in the filmmaker's head, and she dreamt about it and saw it all the time, and she fucking pulled it off. It's a great last shot. And so for that last shot, and if you watch this after midnight, 2 bones. I'm going to give it 2 bones.
Threading the needle.
Yeah, I'm threading the needle, and I think especially with some of the shit that is just hitting the VOD fan lately, this is a solid choice for your late night endeavors. So, LT, thanks for bringing that into the fold.
Thanks for taking this piano class with me, fam.
I want to see Bishki in a tux with tails tickling the ivories someday.
Yeah,
seriously.
Dude, I totally have the motor memory. I just got to bring back a little practice and I'll be there.
Oh, man.
That's like me with cribbage. You with piano, me with cribbage. Now we got to figure out what Lucas's hidden, locked away superpower is.
You're not going to believe it. It's surfing. I used to surf a million years ago, but not as an adult.
Surf's up, brah.
Believe it or not, I used to have like a 6-foot Olsen board when I moved back to LA in like the summer of '97. And like my mom like drove me up and down PCH, like looking at all the spots, and they sucked. I was like, I can't surf down here. Like I'd have to go further south. And my mom was like, well, not until you get a license. And then I wound up taking a video production class that very summer, and the rest is history.
Oh,
nice.
Oh, that turned it all around. Well, I can't wait to see you bust that board back out one fine day.
Yeah, bro.
And just crest that wave perfectly. That's going to be great.
Play us out with a little classical, Lodge Master.
Play us out with the conversation piano. David, what's his name?
David Shire.
Thank you.
I've been trying to contact that guy because I want that. I want the sheet music to that. I don't know how to play it. And I need the sheet music.
David Shire, take us out.
This is getting way too classy for me, guys. But yeah, your wish is granted. Love and light.
Love and light.
I was surfing through the void,